Go cry, vending machine boy. My fiancée humiliated me at her company party, mocking the only job that kept us alive. While her boss and friends laughed, I removed her engagement ring quietly, and the room went silent. She made fun of my job at her office party, so I broke off our engagement right there in front of everyone. Don't be so sensitive, Kale. It was just a joke. That is what she whispered in my ear, right after the whole room had laughed. Right after her boss looked at me, raising his eyebrows as if I were the night's entertainment. Right after her friend, Maeve, let out a snort into her wine glass. Just a joke. A joke about my life, my job, my future. A joke about the only thing I'm proud of, what fed us while she was still figuring things out. A joke told in front of 60 people in suits by the woman who said she wanted to spend the rest of her life with me. I did not say anything immediately. I stood there blinking too much, clinging to the rim of my glass as if it could anchor me. She was still smiling, as if she had not noticed how my face had frozen. I remember looking around the rooftop. People were already turning away. They were done with me. Back to their networking, their champagne glasses, their tired compliments about the skyline. I became part of the background again, just a guy standing next to the woman who won the Employee of the Quarter award. I should not have come. I knew it as soon as we got out of the elevator. I knew it when she made me change my shoes. I knew it when she told me, try not to talk about your work unless someone asks. But I came because I loved her. God, what an idiot I was. The music changed. People laughed again. She leaned in, kissed me on the cheek as if that would erase everything, and then went to hug someone named Derek from Devon. I don't remember. I stood there alone, sweating through the collar of my shirt. I kept hearing the echo in my head. He fixes vending machines. Is not that adorable? No one looked at me the same after that. I became the joke, the pet, the man she had pulled from the clearance rack and paraded around as an ironic fashion choice. And still I did not leave. Not at that moment. No, I waited. I waited until the room was looking again, until the attention returned. And then I did something I never thought I would have the courage to do, but I will tell you what it was in the second part, because that is the moment when everything changed. I did not follow her when she walked away. I stood by the drinks table, feigning interest in a bowl of olives I did not even touch. One of them had a toothpick stuck in it like a small flag, and I watched it tremble slightly in the wind, or, perhaps, from the shaking of my hand. It is strange what you notice when you are humiliated. I could no longer hear what people were saying. I just saw mouths moving, fleeting glances, nudges. No one dared to come closer, not even out of politeness. They probably feared I would talk to them about vending machines, or, worse, that I would be sincere. She came back 20 minutes later. She had touched up her lip gloss. She smelled of someone else's cologne, someone she had hugged for too long. She laughed as if nothing had happened, as if she had not torn the dignity from my chest to display it like confetti. I'm starving, she said, picking up something wrapped in bacon. Are you not having fun? I did not answer, just looked at the ring on her finger. Suddenly, it seemed heavy, too heavy for someone who had sacrificed me to make people laugh. That is when she noticed my silence. Kale. Oh, come on, she murmured, moving closer. Kale, I was trying to be funny. These people have no sense of humor. You know I did not mean it. She kept talking, circling, explaining, justifying, but none of it sank in. My ears were ringing. My throat was tight. I thought of my father. He would have left the second she made that comment. My mother would have thrown the wine in Amber's face, and I just stood there like a coward. And then I did something I had not planned. I reached into my pocket, took out the small black box I had been carrying all night because I thought, God help me, that maybe tonight would be special. I thought maybe I would surprise her with a second, fancier ring, something more worthy of her world. Instead, I opened it, took out the ring. Her eyes widened, not with joy, but with panic. Kale, not here, she whispered. But I was not proposing to you. I took her hand and, slowly, without a word, I slipped the engagement ring from her finger and replaced it with the new one. Then I let go of her hand and walked away, leaving both rings on the table behind me. Two symbols of a love I thought was real. Two reminders that I was the only one who took it seriously. Behind me, people started whispering again, but this time they were not laughing. They were watching a man fall apart, and she could not turn it into a joke fast enough. She did not come after me. Not immediately. I went down the stairs from the rooftop without even bothering with the elevator. I did not want to wait, or hear music, or see my reflection in those mirrored doors. I wanted air, real air, not perfume nonsense, not string lights and curated playlists, and people clinking their glasses after laughing at strangers. I reached the street and stood there, staring at the black asphalt as if it had answers. For the first time in a long time, I did not know where to go. I could not go home. We shared that space. I could not go to my workshop. It was closed and cold. I thought about driving aimlessly, letting the night swallow me. And then I heard the sharp sound of her heels behind me. She caught up to me, breathing too fast, as if she had run, but I knew she had not. She never runs, unless it is for show. What the hell was that? She snapped, grabbing my arm as if she had any right to it. I did not answer, just looked at her hand, still bare, still without the ring. Do you have any idea how you made me look? She hissed, getting in front of me as if she could block out the whole world. You embarrassed me in front of everyone. That sentence hit me like a slap. She was embarrassed. Not because she had humiliated me, not because she had turned me into a joke in front of her entire professional network. No, because I did not stand there smiling through it, because I did not play along like the obedient little side character in her carefully polished life. I think that is when I truly saw her. Not Amber, the fiancée. Not Amber, the woman I fell in love with. Just Amber, who needed the right light, the right moment, the right version of me. I did not do anything you did not do first, I said, my voice trembling. Not with anger, with pain. She blinked, and for the first time all night, her smile cracked a little, as if realizing I was not bluffing. As if maybe, just maybe, this was not going to be one of those fights we pretend did not happen the next morning. Are you really making this about a joke? She said. But now there was less venom in her voice. Just confusion, maybe fear. I did not have the energy to explain that it was not about a joke. It was about all the little things I had let slide. The quiet belittling. The way she introduced me like a rescue dog she had picked up to feel grounded. The way she only kissed me when no one was looking and never held my hand when someone was. It all culminated in a laugh. That is all it took for everything to finally fall apart. She tried again, more softly. This time, we can go back up. We act like nothing happened. We will talk later. You caught me off guard. That is all. And for a moment, a stupid, fragile second, I almost nodded. But then I saw a couple from the party walking past behind her, slowing their steps just enough to listen, pretending to look at their phones, and I remembered the exact sound of her laugh. So I said the one thing she never expected to hear. No, Amber, we are not going back up. You are. She laughed nervously, as if I were joking, but I was not. And when she realized, when she saw that I was serious, her face changed completely. That is when she said it. The thing I will never forget. The thing that made this much more than pride or pain. She crossed her arms, took a step back, and said, "Fine, go cry about it, vending machine boy." And then she turned and walked away, back to her rooftop, to her people, to the version of herself that no longer included me. She thought that was the end. It was not even close. I did not sleep that night. I drove aimlessly until the gas light came on. Then I parked at a dark gas station on the outskirts of town and just sat there, listening to the engine clicks as it cooled, as if it were trying to say something I could not translate. I looked through our old photos. Her smile, my stupid smile, the pictures where I held the camera too low or too high and she made fun of me. I wondered how many of those smiles were real. I wondered how many were hers and how many were someone else's version of who she was supposed to be. She did not write to me once, not a single missed call, not a question, not even a "where are you?" She left me outside that building and went straight back to her world. I could see it unfolding in my mind like a movie. Her walking back in, laughing it off, saying something witty, like, "Well, that was dramatic." And everyone moving on because they would. People like that always move on. They don't analyze things. They don't sit in parking lots at 2 in the morning wondering if they're the punchline or just slow to get it. I thought about calling my brother. He had always said she was a bit too studied, whatever that meant. I did not call. I did not want to hear an "I told you so" from someone who lives in an RV and still owes me $400. Instead, I drove home. The apartment was dark when I entered. Her shoes were not by the door. Her coat was not on the rack. The bedroom was untouched. The bed was made. She had not come back, but the champagne glass from the night before was still on the kitchen counter. The lipstick mark intact like a fossil, like the last trace of someone who once loved me. I sat at the table for a long time, looking at that glass, thinking about all the stupid things I had put up with. The way she interrupted me, the way she corrected how I pronounced certain words when her friends were around. The time she told me not to wear graphic t-shirts because they made me look too local. I did not even know what that meant. I let everything go because I thought love was about compromise, but now it just felt like a quiet erosion. It was almost dawn when I finally went to the closet and started taking out my things. Not hers, mine, the ones I brought into this relationship, the ones that still had my name sewn into the inside of the collars. I was not leaving. She just did not know it yet. And then I saw something I had not seen before. Behind the closet door, hidden in the corner, was a thin black box. I did not remember putting it there. When I opened it, I recognized the envelope inside immediately. It was from my mother from last year. The engagement card she sent from Florida because she was too sick to travel for the party. I had not seen it since the move. Amber said she would put it in a safe place. Apparently, that meant burying it behind a pile of boxes labeled winter accessories. I opened the card, read my mother's handwriting. "If he makes you feel smaller, he is not the one." She wrote that before she even met Amber. And suddenly it did not feel like a breakup anymore. It felt like a rescue. But Amber did not know that yet. She still thought she was in control and had no idea what was waiting for her the next day. She did not come home until almost noon the next day. I heard the key in the lock while I was sitting on the living room floor, folding the same sweatshirt in 3 different ways, not knowing why. I did not move. I did not even look at the door, just listened as she came in. Her heels clicked softly, as if she did not want to wake a guilt that was not hers to carry. She stopped when she saw me. She was still dressed like the night before. Makeup smudged at the corners of her eyes. Her hair up in a messy bun that probably took her 30 seconds and 0 regret. She said my name like a sigh. "Kale, can we talk?" I nodded slowly, as if doing so physically hurt me. She started pacing with her arms crossed tightly, talking fast, as if stopping would make the silence swallow her whole. She said she had drunk too much, that she did not mean it that way, that people had misinterpreted it, that I had overreacted, that I had humiliated her, that I should have waited until we got home. Then she cried. The soft, rehearsed kind of crying. The one she probably used when she missed deadlines or needed extensions in college. Not ugly crying, no shaking or sobbing, just perfect, glistening tears with streaks of mascara. A pain performed for maximum emotional leverage. She tried to take my hand. I pulled it away, and for the first time, I saw her face twitch for a second. Something flickered. Not sadness, not shame, annoyance, as if her patience had run out, as if my broken heart was becoming an inconvenience. I stood up without a word. I just walked past her, opened the coat closet, and took out the only thing that had been there all night. A simple cardboard box. Her things, not everything, just what mattered. The framed picture of her graduation that she insisted stay on the shelf, even though it was not mine, her curated collection of perfumes, the journals she never let me read, her teacups, the fake succulent plant she bought because it added warmth, and the dress she wore last night, folded neatly on top like a ghost. She blinked. What is this? I did not answer. I just handed her the box. She did not take it. Her voice rose, cracking at the edges. Seriously, are you kicking me out? Over a joke. I looked into her eyes. I had not done so since last night. This time I made sure she saw everything. The exhaustion, the sadness, the deep, unfathomable betrayal. I wanted her to feel it settle in the space between us like dust. You did not make a joke, I said quietly. You have been telling them for months. Last night was just the first time I laughed too. She stared at me, no longer crying, not even pretending, just frozen. I placed the box on the kitchen counter, next to the untouched champagne glass. Then I went back to the bedroom and closed the door. Behind it, I could hear her shallow, controlled, calculating breathing. She did not scream, she did not beg, she just stood there. And I knew exactly what she was thinking, that this was just a phase, that I would come crawling back, that I needed her more than she needed me. She did not know that I had already sent the email to the landlord removing her name from the lease. She did not know what else I had found in her nightstand drawer while she was gone. She did not know about Devon, but she would very, very soon. I did not sleep again, not a bit. I lay on my side of the bed, if it could still be called that, and watched the outline of the ceiling fan blades spinning in the dark. The room felt colder. Not physically, not really, but the warmth that used to hum in the background, the invisible feeling that someone cared that you were breathing next to them, was gone, as if it had been carried away in that box I left on the counter. Except the box was still there. I could hear the cardboard shift when she moved around it. She did not speak to me again all day. I think she expected me to give in, for the version of me she was used to, quiet, malleable, too soft to fight back, to come back and apologize for having feelings. But I did not. I stood behind the door, half-dressed, looking at the drawer she never let me open. It had always bothered me. We had no secrets, or so I thought. But there was a drawer on her side of the bed that she kept locked with a cheap, silver latch. She once told me it had boring girl stuff in it. Tampons, journals, receipts. She joked that no man should ever want to look in there unless he was suicidal. Last night, while she was laughing on rooftops, I found the small screwdriver I used to force open vending machine keypads and picked the lock. It was easier than I thought. Inside was a stack of envelopes tied with a string. They were not bills or letters from her grandmother. They were birthday cards, notes, little scribbled things signed with a D from Devon. The name was not unfamiliar to me. I had heard her mention it a few times. Colleague, graphic designer, worked in branding. He once gave her a ride home when her car would not start. Apparently, he gave her more than that. One of the notes still had a faint lipstick smudge on it. It was not mine, or even close to the shade she wore with me. Another had a date, 3 weeks before our engagement, and a line that I read 12 times before I believed it was real. I wish I could wake up next to you without feeling like I'm a secret. I remember looking at it without feeling anything at first, then a threat of nausea, then a heat rising in my face as if I had been slapped, but by a ghost. I did not confront her immediately. I wanted to. I imagined it in 10 different ways. None of them satisfying, because what could I say that would not make me sound pathetic? I had already been the joke. Now I would be the fool. So instead, I waited. I watched her move around the apartment as if nothing was broken. She did not even ask if I was okay. She just showered, changed, sat on the couch looking at her phone as if she were bored waiting for me to apologize. I think she believed the fight was over, that the story was already written. Amber, misunderstood and overly reactive. Kale, emotional but forgivable. Back to normal by Monday. But that version of us had died somewhere between the rooftop and the drawer. So I made a decision. I waited for her to leave for her overpriced coffee from the place on 4th Street. She always left her laptop unlocked. She said she did not need passwords, because who would care about her stuff? I cared. I sat down, opened her Slack app, and searched for his name. Devon. Dozens of messages, some deleted, some hidden in threads I had to manually review, but one stood out. A short video, just 12 seconds, sent at 1:43 in the morning. Just her face, whispering, "I have missed you," even when he is right next to me. The bedroom behind her was familiar because it was mine. That was the moment something inside me turned off. I did not cry, I did not rage, I just closed the laptop, stood up, and went to the bathroom mirror. I looked at myself, at the man who had been shrinking for months, at the man who stopped laughing first, at the man she thought would never fight back. She had no idea what I was about to do, but Devon, he would find out before she did, and neither of them would be laughing this time. I did not plan it. I did not write a speech or imagine what I would say. I just went through her contacts while she was in the shower and found his name. Devon W., head of branding. His profile picture was of the kind of guy who always smiles at himself in mirrors. I hit call before I could regret it. He answered on the second ring. "Hello, this is Devon," he said casually, as if he were in the middle of sipping something with oat milk. I did not say my name. I just said, "She is in the shower." There was a pause that lasted less than a second, but contained a full-blown panic attack. Who is this? You know? Silence again, longer this time. I heard him exhale, not with fear, with exhaustion, as if he had been waiting for this call for weeks. "Look, man," he finally said, his voice lower now, less smooth. "Whatever you think happened." I cut him off. It is not what I think, it is what I have read, what I have seen, what she told you at 1:43 in the morning while wearing my t-shirt. He did not deny it, did not even try. I did not know she was still with you, he mumbled. I thought. She told me you had broken up, that you were living together until the lease was up. I wanted to scream. I wanted to throw the phone across the room, but I did not because something in his voice, the pathetic honesty it contained, told me he was not lying. Not entirely, maybe not at all. She has been lying to both of us, I said. I have not talked to her in weeks, he added. I stopped responding when I realized she was not. I don't know, honest or healthy. That word, healthy, hit me harder than I expected. Healthy, as if she were toxic, as if she had infected both of us and was still walking around smiling, never showing symptoms. I almost hung up, but then he said, I'm sorry, man. I did not want any of this. And a strange thing happened. I believed him, not because I wanted to, but because his voice broke a little when he said it. And because I had been the other guy, once a long time ago, and I knew what it felt like to realize you were part of someone else's lie. I don't want anything from you, I said. Just remember this moment. He did not answer. I ended the call. When she came out of the bathroom minutes later, wrapped in a towel, humming to herself as if she were not living in a crumbling lie, I did not say a word, just watched her walk past me. And in that silence, I made a new decision, one I had not expected, one that surprised even me. I was not going to yell. I was not going to tell her I knew. I was not going to explode, accuse, or demand answers she would lie to anyway. No, I was going to do something worse. I was going to let her feel safe. Then I was going to take everything she thought I could not live without and walk away without flinching. She had created a version of me, harmless, weak, easy to mold. That version was already dead. She just had not realized it yet, but by morning she would, and it would not come with shouting, it would come with silence. The kind of silence that follows someone who is finally done being picked last in their own life. She did not hear me leave. I was quiet, not because I was trying to be, but because it came naturally to me now. That silence I used to fill with explanations, with apologies, with softness, had settled on me like a second skin. I did not slam drawers. I did not break anything. I did not leave a dramatic note, or put on an emotional playlist. I just moved. By the time the sun started to creep through the blinds, I had already packed everything that was truly mine. Not just what I brought into this apartment, but what belonged to me emotionally. The books I actually read, the shirts I liked when no one was judging them, the tools I trusted, the photos where my smile had not been filtered to fit into her world. I left the engagement ring, not in a box, not in the drawer, on her pillow. I did not do it for effect. I did not want her to cry. I did not want to haunt her. I just wanted her to see something real first thing in the morning. Something small and quiet that carried the weight of 1,000 unsaid truths. I walked out without looking back. The world did not stop. The birds were still singing. A delivery truck honked its horn. A teenager on a bike almost hit me as I crossed the street. Life was already moving on, even if she had not realized it yet. I stayed with my cousin for a few days, the one with the terrible sweatshirt collection and the loud dog that barks at ceiling fans. He did not ask questions, just handed me a beer and said, "It is about time." I did not explain much, just said, "Yeah." And somehow that was enough. The strangest thing about heartbreak is how boring it becomes once you have truly processed it. At first, it is loud. Your mind spins with what ifs, should I see, and why would she? But eventually it quiets down. The pain stops feeling like fire and starts feeling like a paper cut. It is still there, but it is manageable, a reminder, not a threat. 3 weeks later, I opened my own repair shop on the other side of town. Just a small garage behind a bakery. Nothing fancy, but I hung a new sign. Kayla Repairs. Honest work. No judgments. People came, not many, but enough. An old man with a broken espresso machine. A single mother whose washing machine had started leaking. A high school kid who broke his phone screen the night after graduation. I fixed what I could, gave fair prices, made enough to buy real food. And for the first time in a long time, I laughed. Not at myself, not nervously, but because I genuinely felt happy. A month after I left, Amber sent me a message. Just 4 words. "Can we talk, please?" I looked at it for a long time. Not with anger, not with hope, just with clarity. Then I deleted it with no response, no closure, no drama. She knew what she had done, and more importantly, I knew what I deserved. This was not a revenge story, nor was it a love story. It was the story of a man who finally stepped away from the wrong kind of spotlight and started living in his own light. And for the first time in my life, that was enough.